The Last of Us, Season 2, Episode 2, titled Through the Valley. Now, this episode, of course, is the episode where the average Joe, who maybe don't know the story of The Last of Us, haven't played the story of The Last of Us, doesn't know anything about the story of The Last of Us past, wherever the show hits, and now know what the term golfing means. Because for a whole week, us fans of The Last of Us, or people who are aware of the story of The Last of Us, keep saying the word golfing, and golfing, and golfing this, and golfing that, and golf, 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 and golf, 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 and golf, 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 golf. And they're like, what's so special about golf? Well, now they know what's so special about golf. But we ain't talking about golf. God, this should be a drinking game with how many times to say golf. Until the end. Because that should be the big grand finale conversation. But let's talk about the rest of the episode. The rest of the episode, when it comes to The Last of Us, is the most intense, butt-clenching experience that this show has given. Because our characters, if it is Abby on her own, going through that fence, that's clenched. That was a level of intensity. Even though, that's a scene from the game, and I know the game, and I know what happens in Last of Us Part 2, and I know Abby lives in that moment, and all that kind of stuff. But at the moment, I don't care. And I think this is so special about the show, which is, good storytelling is, you forget that, A, it's fictional, and 2, that you know the source material. And that's so special about the show, where you can see a scene that is straight off from the game, and you know what's going to happen by probably the end of the episode. That you know what's going to happen by the end of the episode. And you still are invested, and you slightly forget that you don't know what's going to happen. And every time there's a wide shot, and you see this is the army, this is the massive, horn of affected. You're like, I can't help but keep saying, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And of course, then logically, they thought hey, if there's a whole army, one's going to go the direction of what most of them are going to go through, are heading towards that. But there's going to be a whole destination of affected that's going to go to a different direction. And that different direction is Jacksonville. And Jacksonville, you're just going, okay, they're talking about how resourceful they are. And they are very resourceful. You can see that these guys are planners. They know they're like, we know what to do to take care of this. And how to make sure that our people are still alive, and make sure that people are still around. And it's absolute, and their vaccination plans, hey, lock themselves under the basement until the gunfiring has stopped, or until you don't hear any more effective noises and stuff like that. But from the dogs to the flamethrowers to the oil spills to just the simple bullets and how you see how effective they are, but still you're like, this can't be enough, and of course the moment that the bloody bloater starts showing up, you go, well, knowing that in the context of this show you can't just shoot at it 55 times, you can't do that, so what's going to be the thing? What's going to stop a bloater? Oh, simple. Simple. You stop a bloater by fire. You can kill it by having it burnt very, very much a lot of times. I'm like, thank goodness. Thank goodness there's a way to end these things. I can't wait for when they show the whacking. Imagine that. Imagine if this show shows us the whacking. Now I picture all the non-gamers Googling what's the whacking? What's whacking looks like? So it's a whole different thing. That might be saving for season 3, or we know. And if you thought that was the final butt clench moments of the episode, there was golfing. Of course, golfing meant Joel's death. For a whole week, we've been just saying golfing because we didn't want to spoil it for the average Joe. And now you guys know. Golfing means Joel's death. And here's the thing about what's so special about this show. I was watching that scene. I was watching the final, I'll say, 10 minutes of the episode. And it felt like I was watching it for the first time. And maybe it has something to do with, like, it being live action versus cinematics and animation. Maybe it has something to do with that. But something about this show, including season 1, like, I knew Sarah was going to die. I knew that Henry and Sam were not going to make it. I knew about the scene in the bedroom. I knew about the car scene. Or, like, I knew about this scene and that scene and blah, blah, blah. And I knew all the big emotional moments. And I felt like I was watching them for the first time. Like I was playing it for the first time. And what happened I felt the same way while watching Joel's death. And Abby, like, yeah, sure, I might have mumbled some lines like,
"Stupid old man. You don't get to rush this."
I might have said that. I might have mumbled those lines. Or, you know, jokingly said, wow, TV Joel's a little bit patient. Because Abby's just doing the big speech. Because video game Joel was like,
"Why don't you say whatever speech you got rehearsed? Get this over with."
You know, I joked about those things while watching it. But somehow it's more brutal than the game. Once again, maybe it has something to do with it being in live action. But it was I felt a big emotion part of it. I felt every emotion. I felt Ellie's pain, seeing her, essentially a father figure, getting brutally beaten. And then get the final blow. And when she screams,
"You're gonna fucking die!"
Screams those words, you felt the pain and, of course, the wiggle effect. Because
"Joel, please get up!"
death is the Cadillacs. It's the thing that sets the whole story in motion. So it's a whole thing. I was like, once again felt like I was watching it the first time. And then they end the episode with Through the Valley, which was a song that they played. Ellie sung it in, I think, the announcement trailer for The Last of Us Part 2 when they announced the game. And in my head, I felt like, because it plays right after Joel's death, I thought this might be a way, and maybe it has to deal with, like, it's sung by Ashley Johnson, the actress who played the video game counterpart of Ellie. So maybe in my head I'm thinking this might be their way creatively, as this is Ellie's inner monologue. This is what she's thinking. This is her pain, her anger, all the emotions bubbling up inside, and of course it's going to lash out in the future episodes, and her dedication to hunting down the people who killed Joel. So, and of course it's going to end with a big showdown between Ellie and Abby. But I will have to say this. Now that we know what golfing is, can we assure that history won't repeat itself? Can we assure that everyone on the internet can attain their hatred and understand that they thought it was a good story motivation, and actors were just doing their job. If you don't know what I'm talking about, here, let's end this with our highest scenes. This is like a 2-minute snippet from the highest scenes documentary that PlayStation released like a year after the game came out. So, Last of Us Part 2 came out. So, anyway, comment below. Let me know your thoughts of this episode at the comments below. Here's the clip.
We started having these leaks. We're like, we didn't put out this video. Like, where is this coming from? It's a video from one of our reviews, so you could hear the notes, and people that can't attend the meeting can watch it after the fact. It's this person in the Netherlands downloaded terabytes of videos through a back door in the server. And then this is where we made a fatal error. Let's close this back door. And then this person put out everything. A video goes up on YouTube, and I don't remember what the first video was, but it was something relatively benign.
But they weren't like super important scenes. You know, they were like little clips, and it was like, okay, that's a little weird. What is that?
All out of order and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's bad. There's YouTubers I've watched for years, and they're making entire videos, and the title is like, fuck Naughty Dog. And fuck The Last of Us Part 2.
There's just all this negativity and no positivity because no one has played the game. They just have these videos out of context and all these rumors mixed with them. Abby is playable.
They thought Abby was trans because she has muscles.
Here's the ending if they kill Ellie.
And then it just turned into this whole political thing. Oh, Naughty Dog's they're doing this political shit.
And then I get this text from Evan. They just posted Joel's death. And my heart sinks. I can't even describe this feeling. It's just this like dread. It's almost like you just heard someone you care about died. I don't know, that's the closest I could come to. I'm bombarded with hundreds of negative comments, death threats, anti-Semitic comments. It's putting me in a deep depression.
There's some stupid stuff that's like, you're a feminazi, you're whatever shit like that, but it's like some stuff was really like, you know, disturbing.
The hatred, I think that was behind it. I was sad. Like, there were a lot of days where I would just cry.
Every time I went online, it was just, that's all I saw was death threats and threats of violence. And the worst of it, the really like hardcore death threats got passed along, and they, you know, made sure that they weren't anyone that like lived close by. Yeah, they were like threatening my son, you know, who was born during all of it. And yeah, it was rough. It was rough.